Hello, all you wonderful human beings out there. How's it going? How y'all doing today?
Hello. I'm doing well. It's you know, it's exciting stuff is on the horizon that I'm very much looking forward to, which we'll get into it a little bit. But
Yep,
it's
yep.
been a good day. It's been a decent day, decent week. Although there is some stuff going on today that's not so happy and cheery, but we'll touch upon that a little bit, I'm sure.
Absolutely. First, I'm going to get through the obligatory intro. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Controller Chronicles. I am your host for today's episode, your friendly neighborhood meta, and I'm joined by one of my amazing co-hosts in Resident Justice, aka RJ. RJ, how'd you say you're doing today in general? Like, how you doing today,
Good. It's been a pretty chill day. Not much going on, but it's the calm before the storm, as I like to say. So.
man? After this, folks, we're not going to see RJ for at least a month.
Well, I'll be around. It's just, my time will be taken up. I'll be a little preoccupied, but it'll be okay. It'll be okay. We'll be fine.
It's gonna be
Hopefully.
like that thing on Family Guy. Hey RJ, where you been? Oh, hey man, I just been playing some of that Rebirth. You know,
Eh.
what's wrong with your arm? Nothing. I'm gonna go back inside, man. I'll see you later.
Oh, it's gonna be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Getting the
Well,
platinum trophy, though, ooh, I'm not looking forward to that. That I'm not looking forward to whatsoever. But we'll get it. That's.
yes, we will. And I wanted to say, I'm gonna try to make the. I'm gonna try to be. I want to try to be better at promoting our stuff. So of course, if you like what you see, please do give us a like, share, and subscribe for more Controller Chronicles content. We're trying to grow. We're trying to grow the brand out more. We do have a technically. I have a server now. I have Discord server, and Controller Chronicles is a part of that, along with other just awesome stuff and wonderful sweet beans that are a part of that server. I'll leave a link in the description of this video to that Discord server if anyone wants to join and be welcomed into the neighborhood. But with all that being said, let's start talking about all of our topics, including what we always do, where we chronicle our journeys through the games we're playing. So I'll start with RJ, because I know what he's done and I want him to explain it to everyone to show that he's not insane. RJ, what have you been playing recently?
So I have been doing some interesting things. So I played Final Fantasy VII Remake from start to finish. I did that about a month ago. Um, then I finished my journey getting the platinum trophy in that game. So I played the entire game on hard mode, which I'd already been working on that on my PS4 save file. I just finished that up. Um, then I took down a ridiculously hard boss, which, oh my god, that was crazy. Um, what else did I do? Oh yeah, I played Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade, the Yuffie DLC, which that was a lot of fun. And then wrapping it up, I played all of Final Fantasy VII OG, at least up until the end of Disc 1, is where Rebirth is going to end. So yeah, I've been a little busy, but hey, I'm happy. I got the Platinum Trophy for Remake, both PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. So I can add
I
that
didn't know
to
you got
my.
it for both, dude.
Well, no, the PS4 save data transfers over to PS5, and that includes trophies. So once I
Okay,
got
okay,
once
okay,
once I
okay,
got the
okay.
platinum for the PS4 version, I already got the
Got
PS5.
it.
Yeah, yeah, no. If I had to do it twice, no, I would not have done that. If I had to do it twice,
I thought you
yeah,
were an
no,
insane person.
yeah. So that's what I've been playing. Today I just finished up playing Final Fantasy VII OG up until the end of Disc One. So that's what I did today at the time of
Okay.
recording.
I know you also played. You were playing a bit of P3 as well before
Yes, I
Final Fantasy
was.
took
Yeah,
over.
the last week though, I'll be honest, I've been just in Final Fantasy mode. I will return to Persona 3 Reload. I'm gonna try and balance it out a little bit more moving forward. I'm getting close to the end of the game. I'm about to hit October, so and October really marks a giant event in the story, and then from then on, I should be nearing the end.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, as for me, I have been. I actually got to play a bit of one of the games that I I purchased it for my birthday. It's a birthday gift to myself. It was the Konosuba visual novel game because that's really all I have time to do is play games like visual novels. But again, I enjoy visual novels. So anyway, the actual name of the game, because Konosuba is such a long name, is Konosuba: God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. Love for These Clothes of Desire. And it's been fun. It's been a fun experience. Again, I love the world of Konosuba. It's one of my top 2 favorite animes of all time. And just pieces of like, and I'm gonna get the manga series eventually, but I love it so much. I'm looking forward to the next season coming out in a few months. I'm so excited for that. So yeah, I've been enjoying myself, and in this one, you basically get to it's a visual novel slash kind of like romance sim, and I do have there's some waifus in Konosuba that I'm like, nice. So yeah, it's been loads of fun, and it's been absolutely hilarious. The storyline is definitely in Konosuba fashion. So
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad you're enjoying that. Never seen the anime, have no connection to it, so it's probably not going to be.
God, RJ, it's so again. So you love Final Fantasy, right?
Well, I know it's an isekai. I know it's
An isekai, but it also makes fun of fantasy, like fantasy in general. So again, there's Kazuma, who's the main protagonist. He's the one that gets isekai'd, but he's colored in green, and he has the skills of a thief. He has steal, lurk, but he also has things like create water and snipe. So very basic magic and very basic skill set, but also can be very handy in a tight spot. Mm-hmm. Then you have Aqua, who's the goddess of water, but in the world she's an archpriest and she's blue. And we all call her the useless goddess because that is in fact what she is. She's the lovable useless goddess, but yeah, she causes more problems than she should. And she's supposed to be this holy archpriest, but she's actually like a very selfish, slothish individual. It's a very funny contrast. Then you have Megamine, who's an arch wizard, and she's red. She looks like, the old mages and stuff from the original Final Fantasy games. And instead of just knowing all advanced magic, she just knows one magic trick, which is explosion. And because of how small she is, when she uses explosion, it drains all the MP out of her, so she falls to the floor on her face. It is hilarious every single time. And then you have Darkness, who is the Crusader, and she's yellow, and she's tough as a brick house, and built like a brick house too, but she can't hit a damn thing, and she's also a masochist.
Wow.
So you have these characters that are these archetypes in fantasy, these cornerstones of fantasy, and they're like parodies / the opposite of what they're supposed to be. And it is just so damn funny how they're able to bullshit their way through these horrible events and somehow come out unscathed, or at least physically unscathed. Cosmos suffered some mental trauma, but yeah, it's really funny, man. It's really, really funny. It's probably one of the funniest animes / shows I've ever seen. It's, again, top 2 for me.
Okay.
But
nice. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah. Anyway, I tangented for too long. So let's just go ahead and jump into the first bit of news, and it is a bit of sad news or serious news. So I'm gonna bring it down for a minute. Let me there we go. Try to make it to where the music's sort of heard, but not really. Anyway, so in a couple days ago, or yesterday, really, it was announced we had more layoffs. This has been a horrible year for layoffs. Last year was a horrible year for layoffs. And I want to say that we here at Controller Chronicles feel for all these developers and the people that are being affected by this. I've said it on occasion. I am currently in school because I want to become a writer for video games. I want to become a writer in general, but I want to focus on video games. I love gaming. I love the industry, but it just seems right now is a very volatile time to be anyone that isn't like a top brass figure. And that's unfortunate. So our hearts do go out to them, and we will cover this again we've already talked about it once with the AAA bubble popping, and we need to go back and do it with a bit more detail and give more of our thoughts on it because
I think we're gonna break down the news because even today we got more updates about at the time we're recording this, yesterday Sony announced layoffs, and now today EA has announced layoffs and shifting of their
Supermassive also announced layoffs.
Yeah, it's been an ongoing thing,
and we intend to talk about it in more detail and make it more of a focus point for a whole episode. We'll probably do that touring sometime close to sometime in the summer. So just that's when we plan on doing it. So we'll look forward to that. But anyway, I digress. I'm gonna read a bit of Sony and EA's press releases. So February 27th. So this is Herman Hulst, the head of PlayStation Studios, saying this. Today, Sony Interactive Entertainment initiated a reduction in our workforce, including with PlayStation Studios, and I wanted to talk about the impact that will have. These decisions have been extremely difficult, but they are necessary, and I think it is important to be transparent. The U.S.-based studios and groups impacted by reduction in workforce are Insomniac Games, Naughty Dog, as well as our technology, creative, and support teams. In the UK and European-based studios, it is proposed that PlayStation Studios London studio will close in its entirety, that there will be reductions in Guerrilla and Firesprite. These are in addition to some smaller reductions in other teams across PlayStation Studios. Our goal at PlayStation Studios has always been to make the best games for PlayStation fans, and our global community of studios represents some of the most creative and talented teams within the gaming industry. PlayStation 5 is in its 4th year, and we are at a stage where we need to step back and look at what our business needs. At the same time, our industry has experienced continuing and fundamental change, which affects how we all create and play games. Delivering the immersive, narrative-driven stories that PlayStation Studios is known for at the quality bar that we aspire to requires a reevaluation of how we operate. Delivering and sustaining social online experiences, allowing PlayStation gamers to explore our worlds in different ways, as well as launching games on additional devices such as PC and mobile, requires a different approach and different resources. Take on these challenges, PlayStation Studios had to grow. We have brought brilliant and successful studios into our family. We have invested in new technology and partnerships. We have recruited talent from across our industry and beyond, but growth itself is not an ambition. PlayStation Studios is committed to continually discovering ways to work together, collaborating and combining our efforts to ensure that we are able to craft games that push the boundaries of play and deliver what you expect from us. We look at our studios and our portfolio, evaluating projects in various stages of development, and have decided that some of those projects will not move forward. I want to be clear that the decision to stop work on these projects is not a reflection on the talent or passion of team members. Our philosophy has always been to allow creative experimentation. Sometimes great ideas don't become great games. Sometimes a project is started with the best intentions before shifts within the market or industry result in a change of plan. I am deeply saddened to see talented individuals leave the company. I have so much admiration, appreciation, and respect for their work. PlayStation Studios will continue to be a creator-led organization driven by evolving our beloved franchises and bringing new gameplay experiences to the highest quality to our fans. Thank you all for your continued support. So the biggest thing that I get out of this, besides, of course, the layoffs, is where did I go? Where did it go?
Well,
yeah,
really,
here we go.
That statement to me just, the shifting of strategies is what intrigues me always when they talk about this kind of stuff,
Yeah. And that's what, the thing where it says, where did it go? Their goal is to maintain a bar of quality. Here we go. Delivering and the immersive narrative-driven stories that PlayStation Studios is known for at the quality bar that we aspire to requires a reevaluation of how we operate. So what I understand is, and some people have explained this in normal speak, apparently PlayStation has heard a lot of the concerns and outcry from PlayStation fans about all these live service games, and they're putting a stop to a lot of them to focus more on single-player narrative-driven games. That's what I've heard. People have translated that into being. So I think that's a good thing because again, the Twisted Metal game that was canceled was a live service Twisted Metal game, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
still, I mean, the fact that entire studio, I mean, we'll talk about this more when we do a deep dive in it, but the fact that the entire studio closed. And what this also says to me, again, is that I think you're seeing Sony and PlayStation pull back from VR support. I think they're slowly, I think
first
PlayStation
party
VR,
VR support, yes.
yeah, first party
It
VR
was
support, I
announced
feel
that
like is
they're
slowing down. I don't think they're,
well, they're trying so that what they're doing right now. I've shared a couple of articles with you guys.
wow.
You
Wow.
probably just saw the same thing I did. Hold on, hold
Yeah,
on.
we have breaking news we're recording.
Well, we're gonna cover. Hold on, let me finish the point here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Just,
No, you're fine. You're
audibly
fine.
was
You're fine.
shocked.
But I have heard that they're trying to get PlayStation is trying to make PS VR2 compatible with PC, and if it becomes compatible with PC, that is an affordable VR headset for PC now. Like they could just integrate all games to work with PSVR 2 the same way that Vive and the MetaQuest are. You know what I mean? Like it could be an affordable headset, which isn't a bad thing for the consumers. So I'm trying to, yeah. So I saved this because I saved this tweet because I felt like it was I felt like it was relevant. Is Sony starting to figure out what their issues are? Granted, they can still make the movie games, but you have to supplement them with some AA releases. And then he says he compares them to Nintendo. He says again, these companies like to steal from Nintendo, but never steal the sauce that keeps them around for so long. And yeah, and that's like Stealth just tweeted that out too with what some of the other news that we're going to be talking about. You know, the Nintendo is running counter to what we are seeing in the video game industry right now. They're seemingly growing compared to other major publishers who are laying off hundreds. Like, and Nintendo, that's because also by Japanese law, like layoffs are kind of like a no-no. But yeah, like just even in general, like the work culture at Nintendo, because of also how the culture is in Japan, is so counter to what we're seeing here. Now, PlayStation isn't the only ones that had layoffs. Again, today alone, EA had some layoffs too. But before because I'm gonna slowly pull these up. But while I get my articles, get the article ready to read. RJ, what's the breaking news that we just had while recording?
So obviously, as we before we even hit the record button, EA announced they were laying off about 5% of their workers. I think it's somewhere in the 600 number of employees.
Yeah.
Fact check me on that. Andy Robinson from VGC News has just come out and put out a report saying that EA has canceled Respawn's unannounced Star Wars first-person shooter game. And this was rumored to be a Mandalorian game. The Mando game. Apparently it was pretty far in development too, but they have apparently canceled this game. It is no longer being developed. It has been canceled as part of these layoffs and this new strategy from EA. What is going on?
Okay.
This is horrible.
RJ, we're going to talk about it, bro. We're going to talk about it.
But, like, how does it keep getting worse?
RJ, we're going to talk about it.
I know, but like
we're talking about all of it right now. We're going to talk about it literally right now. This is
okay. I'm just saying, I'm just so upset by this. This is just
because I know you wanted the Mando game.
And it's not only that; it's Respawn. Respawn's making amazing games. Like their newest game just got canceled.
Yeah, I hope though that like EA isn't stupid. They're not going to cancel Jedi Fallen Order or Jedi 3. They're not going to cancel Jedi 3. Like they're going to let Respawn cook on that one.
God, you hope so.
They'd be stupid, and this is EA. So to quote Dunkey, but this is EA, okay? They'll find a way to fuck it up. So, but anyway, let's talk about EA. So Electronic Arts today announced that it is laying off approximately 5% of its employees as it leans in on the parts of business it feels will be the most successful in the years to come. In the most recent annual report, the publisher gave its headcount as 13,400 as of the end of March 2023, which would put the job losses around 670 people. The cuts are just one part of the company's restructuring plan, which also includes closing some offices and sunsetting certain live service games, like previously announced shutdown of MLB Tap Sports and F1 Mobile Racing. Oh, it's sunsetting 2 mobile games. Okay, well, that's still sad, but okay, anyway. In a note to staff, EA CEO Andrew Wilson said the company is also moving away from development of future licensed IP that we do not believe will be successful in our changing industry. Okay, I'm gonna quickly pause reading this. That we don't believe will be successful in our changing industry. But here's the thing, though, Andrew. With Star Wars, it has been popular. It has been successful. You've had 2 games that have been very successful that are Star Wars. And honestly, I'm going to give you this. It took some reworking, and it took a lot of dedication and love from your developers, but even Battlefront 2 became a game that fans love now. I wouldn't say as much as the original, but damn close, because it...
Well, here's what I don't get, right? The only thing I can think of is that they don't want to do the licensed IP games anymore like Star Wars because it costs them money to utilize the license.
But here's the thing, though. EA makes billions just off of Madden alone.
Which is why I don't understand. I don't understand the strategy because, again, like, even if... Okay, let's say, for example, they really want to push the mobile games, right? You can use Star Wars mobile games, right? I mean, I don't understand why you get out of the licensed IP stuff entirely and you phase it out.
So, okay, again, I think it does have to do with that, but here's the other thing, right? And I'm gonna keep reading. But I just want to say this. Either this year or next year, EA is about to relaunch its second most profitable game ever under Madden. You know what's under Madden, RJ? College football. NCAA will be returning this... again, it's NCAA 25. They're bringing them back because the NILs, because of how college football is now. EA and basically college football games are going to be coming back, and those make a lot of money. Not as much as Madden, but damn near close. So EA sees this. They're working on this. They have Madden, and now they're about to have college football. They believe they don't need these external IPs. Well, here we go. Outside of sports or racing, EA's major external licenses in recent years have included Disney properties like Star Wars and Marvel, which the company has tapped for upcoming games based on Black Panther and Iron Man. EA representative confirmed both Black Panther and Iron Man remain in development. So at least Black Panther and Iron Man are still being worked on because, oh my God.
Yeah, if those games got canceled, I don't know what would happen. Like, there would be riots in the streets. I mean,
because those are games that we are heavily invested in.
But that's the thing, though. When they're already talking about they're moving away from licensed IP, so after these games come out, even if they do very well, are they going to make sequels? Doesn't seem like it. It seems like they're
I think that they are a business. I want to bring everyone back to about 2018. It was 2018, 2017. I'm gonna take us back. Let Meta take you on a journey real quick, back in time. Not even that long ago, really. Although, my God, it feels like forever ago. EA made the dumbass statement of saying, we don't believe single-player games are the future of gaming anymore. It's online mobile games. And then guess what won Game of the Year that year for 2018?
Single-player game.
God of War.
Uh-huh. Which,
and that
by
changed
the way,
that,
more
that
updates.
and then we hear about Jedi Fallen Order. A single-player narrative-driven game, no microtransactions. It's a open and shut experience. You get what you get when you buy the game. And guess what? People loved it. Some said it's probably one of the best pieces of Star Wars gaming in recent years. And I agree. It's really good. And then you come out just last year with Jedi Survivor, which honestly did what a sequel should do in some aspects by like delivering more. I do have my own complaints with certain things, but that's beside the point. Or not complaints, but gripes. But point is, that game was also even though there was bugs, the story people loved, the gameplay people loved. You got to have a lightsaber and a blaster. I felt like a badass. Um, people love that game, and so it sold a lot of money. It sold a lot of copies. Jedi 3 is going to come out, and it's going to be great. They need Respawn. I feel like is going to cook. They need to make this a trilogy. So Respawn needs to cook with this ending.
Yeah. By the way, we have another update. Apparently, Ridgeland Games, who were working on a single-player Battlefield game, that developer is being shut down entirely.
Well, again, like as we talked about, we're going to
like
talk
an
about.
entire studio is just now gone.
I'm going to retweet what you just said. AAA gaming is fucking cooked, y'all.
I mean, this is like I've never seen anything like this. Because 2023 was bad for layoffs. Meta,
2024 is going to be worse. We all knew that.
We are at the end of February, and this is
we already knew,
RJ.
We already knew this year was going to be worse for layoffs. We already knew. Yeah, and development. Ooh, I want to bring up something real quick because I'm looking on Twitter right now, and Shinobi says this, and it makes me actually think what I was about to say is right. Maybe. So, RJ, real quick, what is one of the studios that EA owns that is beloved by gamers, but kind of the reputation in recent years has kind of been not as good as it used to be? What?
BioWare?
BioWare. What is BioWare working on right now?
2 games. They're working on Dragon Age 4 and they're working on Mass Effect 4? A new Mass Effect?
Well, Mass Effect 5, technically.
Yeah.
But still. So, Dragon Age. Oh, and by the way, I will just say this. If you want what's been going down with BioWare, no one has been covering that better, in my opinion, than Mr. Matty Plays. Please go check out his videos talking about BioWare. He talks about them a lot. He covers everything that happens with them as a studio. And they've been through some shit. BioWare has been through a lot. And just like looking at the long scope of things, Inquisition did okay. Dragon Age Inquisition was received, I think, okay by Dragon Age fans. I'm not a big Dragon Age fan myself, but from the
Dragon Age Inquisition, it won Game of the Year in 2014, and it was considered much better than Dragon Age 2. You know,
well, there you go.
It was a return to form, for sure.
Yeah, it was a return to form. But then you have Mass Effect Andromeda, which was not a return to form.
Yeah, and that was handled by the BioWare B team, because BioWare's A team was working on Anthem, and we all know how Anthem went down.
And I was about to say Anthem, and then Anthem was cooked on arrival. And so now you have BioWare trying to redeem themselves yet again with another Mass Effect and another Dragon Age. So Dragon Age is coming first, Dreadwolf. That's coming first.
Which there are some concerns, because
there are a lot of concerns,
because they seem to be some gameplay leaked from them. They seem to be changing the formula a lot, and I don't know how it's going to go.
Well, gameplay is always a big controversial thing when a fan base believes that this is how the gameplay should be for a series, and then the developers are like, no, we kind of want to improve on it. We want to try to see if we can make something better. There's a bit of backlash, especially those that, again, are not friendly with change. They don't like change. But this is my thing, right? I feel like if BioWare screws up either of these titles, they're cooked. They're done. They're shut down. It's over.
Well, the thing is that the Mass Effect game is so far out from being released. Who knows where we're going to see it? They've been teasing it for the last couple years,
they keep teasing. They keep every N7. They always give off something.
Yeah, I mean, they're working on it. It's just that it seems like it's further down the road, you know. And I'm just very concerned. But we shall see. I think Dreadwolf is rumored to be coming out next year. So we'll see what happens with that, but I don't know. I'm very concerned.
I will just but I think that depending on how those go, they may finally shut BioWare down. The only reason they have it is because EA knows EA knows that, again, EA shut down Pandemic. EA used to be known as the kiss of death for game developers when they purchased them, because it's like, well, they're
Pandemic
gonna
shutting down was horrible. That was
rough. That pissed me off. That still pisses me off, because I'm like, that was a great studio that gave us some amazingly great games. But my point is that if EA wants to go looking inward, here's the thing. They have found success with their own IPs in the past and even recently. The Dead Space remake sold really well and was very well received. So if they're reviving Dead Space, if they're going to put more effort and emphasis and not innovation, well, innovation too, but investment into their IP, because EA does have a good list of IPs that they could either revive. They could pull a Sega, kind of, with some of the IPs that they have. And some people would love that, for them to put some of these older IPs and give them a new coat of paint, see if they work in today's gaming market. Especially since we've been talking about the AAA industry kind of crumbling before our eyes. AA games are going to be what keeps a lot of these companies afloat. It's going to be the life preserver. It's going to be the life raft. And if EA can make a lot of great AA games from IPs that they've had for years, just sitting in a vault, more power to them. In a way, I kind of support this. In another way, I don't. I don't think they should completely reject other IPs, because that's what Disney is doing. Disney wants to be in the gaming market, but they're investing in other companies to do that for them instead of doing it themselves.
Right. Yeah. Well, this is just, again, it's part of this much larger conversation that we're going to need to sit down and have, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, and I think it's going to get much worse. Like, honestly,
yes,
I'm making a prediction right now. We'll see what happens when we record the next episode. I'm very scared for Rocksteady. Very scared for them.
Oh, I think they're going to shut down. I do. I think Warner Brothers will shut them down.
I hope to God not, but it's not looking good. I think you're going to see Ubisoft make cuts this year.
Ubisoft will definitely make layoffs. Rocksteady.
I think you're going to see Warner Brothers games.
Rocksteady will be lucky if it's just layoffs. And I know that isn't like the studio itself will be lucky if layoffs just happen, but because of how poorly received, because even in the earnings call they said Suicide Squad did not meet our expectations at all. So that may cook the studio. But yeah, like you said, this is a large.
I think you're going to see, like, this is the tip. I think you're going to see, because Xbox already let off like 1,900 employees across Microsoft Gaming and Activision Blizzard, and I think Ubisoft and Take-Two are probably next. Warner Brothers Games. It's going to get worse, and I think you're going to see a lot of canceled games in the next year.
Oh, I believe so too.
Canceled games.
I think that the AAA games industry crumbling is going to force a lot of these. Here's the thing with AAA gaming, and again, this is part of the bigger discussion that we'll hopefully have around the summer. But when you see all the sinking ships, do you continue to press forward or do you change course? A smart captain would change course. And I think that's what EA is trying to do somewhat, not fully. They're not saying they're going to stop making games as service games, but the games as a service model, those, Arlo even said this in his video, those that have gotten the formula down are going to feast like never before. But the companies that move away from it are saving themselves from ruin, because either you catch the tail of this dragon or you fall to your death. Basically, that's the risk that the service games are right now. And so yeah, I think that moving away, we're gonna hopefully see the games industry be like, you know what, these aren't as profitable now. Well, they're still profitable, but is it worth destroying the entire company over?
Right.
But again, that's a bigger discussion to have. But we do want to have it, and we do want to continue this. It's just there has been so much news to talk about. So for now, let's transition to a bit of lighter news. And again, it may sound a bit tone deaf, but we do intend to have this discussion again in the future to talk about this in more detail.
Yeah.
Once again, I'll reiterate a point that was made last year, because this year is, again, another great year for gamers, but a bad year for game devs. And in that instance, Hi-Fi Rush is coming to PlayStation 5, March 19th.
Cool.
there's no great way for me to land with this next topic, but I gotta land it regardless. This is one of the big games that was announced with the doom and gloom that Xbox released, that we
Right,
even
the Xbox meltdown.
we were even a part of that, and I apologize if we at all sounded baity or clickbaity or titles did. I apologize for any of that. It's just that it really looked like it was the end for Xbox. We all believed that it was, and
I
it
still
turned
think
out.
it's a slow decline, though. I still think there's.
Well, a slow decline is better than an outright tanking.
Yeah, I get, but it still made no sense why they waited so long to address it.
I agree with that, but still, here we
Their
are.
communication was horrible.
It was horrible, but Xbox's PR has always been horrible. Now, with all this being said, the interesting thing about Hi-Fi Rush is we all, three of us, Braille, myself, and RJ, we assumed Hi-Fi Rush would come to both, but as of right now, it's only available on PlayStation right now.
Yeah, no Switch announcement. This wasn't even featured in the Nintendo Presents partnership.
The Partner Direct, which we'll get to. Other Microsoft games were in that partner.
This was an announcement made on social media after the Direct, like a separate announcement entirely. So
exactly.
The only thing I can think of is that it's going to come to Nintendo, just not the Switch.
The Switch 2 Electric Boogaloo, folks.
Yeah. That's the only thing I can think of. I mean, either way, it's good that Hi-Fi Rush will be made available to more players. I think it's going to do very well on PlayStation. So
yeah, because this game is amazing, and honestly, the promotional video they released for it was hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, Hi-Fi Rush is a very, very, very good game. Like, if you have not played it, go play it, because it's an amazing game.
I love the art style. I love the.
It's got a great story. It's got great gameplay. The music's fantastic. It's just an all-around very good game.
Exactly, and so, yeah, I'm excited for more people to play it. And with that, again, this wasn't a very. Oh, I will say that I am kind of upset about this, because this goes into the bigger conversation of the games industry as a whole. Limited Run Games is printing the physical copy of this game. Now, I have a love-hate relationship with Limited Run. What I really hate, though, and it's not even their fault, it's more so the game company's faults. We're seeing physical games become a collector's item over the mainstay now. Like, companies like Limited Run, I Am 8-Bit, those are going to be the places you have to go to get a physical copy of a game that you love playing if you want one. And I hate that. I do. But, unfortunately, this feels like something that even if we say no with our wallets, like, it would take a massive amount of saying no with our wallets to make an impact on this for physical media to stay, because we've talked about this multiple times. Physical media has been out the door been heading out the door for a while now, and I hate it with all of my being. But yeah, either way, I am excited for Hi-Fi Rush. I do intend to get the physical game and then get the deluxe upgrade, so I can. Because again, this game looks awesome, like graphically speaking, on PC. I tried to play it when I had a Steam Deck, and it did not look awesome. I don't know what the hell was going on. But yeah, looking forward to that. And with that, real quick, going to take a slight tangent over to talk about something that RJ is very excited to talk about, and then we'll cover everything, because the rest of it is Nintendo related. So, RJ, what comes out tomorrow?
Well, actually, in 6 hours and 23 minutes, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth will unlock digitally, and it'll be released to the world. Although it's already out in Japan right now.
Of course it is.
Some other countries.
Of course it is. But, okay, yeah, so the point is, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth comes out tomorrow, or in 7 hours, whatever. Point is, it comes out. And you know what that means? Game reviews. Now, RJ sent me, and again, the only reason we're not showing this stuff is because issues with StreamYard. So, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on OpenCritic.com, which is, would you say OpenCritic is a better, more reliable website than Metacritic, RJ?
I think for video games, I like using OpenCritic more personally. Metacritic is still valuable, it's just that I like looking at OpenCritic.
Okay, well, all of the major. I want to see if Noisy Pixel's on here. I love Noisy Pixel personally. That's probably my favorite video game reviewer right now. I don't see them right now. Anyway, they'll probably release one either later today or tomorrow. Point is, so you have IGN, Eurogamer, Games Radar, GameSpot, Game Informer. Here's all what they have to say. Positive, glowing things, essentially. I'm not reading all the reviews. IGN gave it a 9 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 4 out of 5. Games Radar gave it damn near close to 5 stars, so 4.5 stars. Game Informer gave it an 8.5 out of 5. GameSpot 8 out of 10. I love how they say Polygon is unscored and so is Kotaku. That's funny. Anyway, hell, IGN Spain gave it a 10 out of 10. So
wow.
I'm trying to see if Noisy Pixel is on here because I don't see them not doing a review. And Noisy Pixel, in my opinion, is again a very reliable games reviewing platform. I don't see them. Point is, everyone's eating this game up. The overall score of it is by critics 100%. Top critic average is a 93. And whatever the hell this open critic rating is, it says it's mighty. So people are loving this game. Here's my question, though, because we get back to this is a whole other topic. Should Final Fantasy VII be considered, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth be considered for Game of the Year?
I mean, you have to imagine it's a shoe-in.
It's a remake, though.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a remake, and so this is. And I had the same issue. I had the same issue with almost said Final Fantasy IV with Resident Evil 4 remake. I believe at this juncture in the games industry, remakes and re-releases and that type of stuff that are not.
That's the weird thing with Final Fantasy VII, though, that I can't get into because you haven't played it. You haven't played remake and you haven't played the original. Is Rebirth really a remake at this point? Or is it the main
DNA? The main DNA of the game is still Final Fantasy VII. It is exploring the story of Final Fantasy VII. You can change up certain elements all you want. The DNA is still the same.
And that's the interesting question, right? And that's kind of like, I mean, I'm fine with it. If it's a really good game, then I think it deserves to be up there. Honestly, no, but
in that case, then I would say again. I believe then that Reload should be considered too because it's good. It's going to be a fantastic game. It is a fantastic game. It's gotten a lot of positive reviews. It's sold a lot of copies too. So that's what I'm saying though. But then we get to a point where the remakes and the remasters start taking over more, and I believe it makes it not impossible but harder for newer games and newer experiences to get that edge because you're having to compete with a classic story just being retold. So that's my issue with it, and that's why I believe they deserve their own category. I'm not saying they don't deserve to get awards. I just think they should be their own category because people said the same thing about Resident Evil 2 remake. They wanted Resi 2 to be up for Game of the Year because of just how tight of an experience it was. So I'm trying to say, oh, it isn't really Resi 2 because the camera's different, gameplay's different. I'm like, yeah, but it's the DNA is still Resident Evil 2. It is still telling the same story, just from a new perspective with new gameplay. Still the same story, though. But yeah, I'm excited for this. I do have a copy of the special edition pre-ordered. It should be hopefully coming tomorrow on time. So help me God.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for me, the reviews, I was already going to get the game no matter what. I mean, the reviews are great, obviously. I think Famitsu gave like a 38 out of 40 or something like that, like almost a perfect score, which is pretty cool. I will say, though, something to take note of is that I did see from IGN's review and GameSpot's review, they did not like the ending. They did. That was why they docked some points. They did not like the ending. And I mean, that's their opinion, of course. I'll be very curious to see what the discourse is like for this game, because, like, if you play the original game, you know what the Forgotten City and the Forgotten Capital is. You know where the game is ending. I'll be very curious to see how they handle that, because I do think it's going to make or break that game for some people, right? So I'll be curious to see how the ending is done and how people, what people take away from it and how people feel about it. Because this is the middle part of the story. That, like, they've even made comparisons. This is their Empire Strikes Back. This is their middle part of the story. There's going to be a lot of story twists and darkness and all that. So,
and I guarantee you, it'll handle subverting expectations and shit if they have them better than The Last Jedi did. So, I will never not have an opportunity to shit on that film. But no, I'll just say though, my copy is at Best Buy, RJ. It says here your pre-order item is at your store, and it'll be available for pickup on release day. We'll email you when it's ready for pick. So it's there. I can click. I'm at the store, but because of the release day, they may not give it to me.
That's when you just rob them and say, "Give me my game."
I kind of want to go up there to test if I can get it.
If the employee does not give a crap, you might be able to.
I was just like, bruh, please save me the trouble of coming back up here tomorrow. Please.
I'll give you a $10 tip.
Shit, I'll give you a $20 tip. Fuck that. That's basically, I'm giving you the gas money.
I'm not kidding you. At the time of recording this, it's Wednesday. And again, we are 6 hours, 15 minutes away from launch.
You're watching the timer on your PlayStation, aren't you?
No, I'm going to clean my PlayStation out, actually. Because, like, if you remember when Final Fantasy 16 launched, that was like overheating PS5s because that game was.
I want to get that game eventually.
It was overheating PlayStation 5 because the game was so intense.
Yeah.
So my whole thing is I'm gonna clean up my PlayStation now, make sure it's all good to go, because like I don't want any issues. I mean, I didn't have any issues playing the demo, but just to be safe. But yeah, I mean, I'm not kidding you. When 11 p.m. hits local time for me, I am playing this game for a minimum of 4 hours before I go to bed. So,
Eddie, well, again, everyone, please be excited for RJ. He's gonna have fun.
Because I was gonna think about streaming it, but I just realized this game's like 80 hours long. There's no way I'm gonna stream this.
Yeah, don't stream it. But all right. Yeah, looking forward to that. Going to be a very big title for PlayStation. A very big title in general for the games industry as a whole. And everyone should be looking forward to it. Now, on to a company that, man, there's so much news to talk about with this company. I'm actually going to switch it up a bit and let's talk about this first. So we did a live stream talking about the Partners Showcase. Do you want to go over some of the highlights real quick, RJ, of what we saw in that showcase?
I mean, really, there was just 3 big highlights for me. Shin Megami Tensei 5 getting a re-release with new content. Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance coming to all platforms. That's cool. Epic Mickey Rebrush and Epic Mickey Remake. That was a pretty big announcement. And then the Battlefront Collection, which is going to have online multiplayer, which is really cool.
And also, Sea of Thieves is coming to PlayStation and Switch, as well as Grounded. So the games that we knew were coming from Xbox.
Actually, no. Correction. Sea of Thieves right now is only confirmed for PlayStation. The only two Xbox games going to Switch are Grounded and Pentiment.
I think that Sea of Thieves then may actually go to the next console. And dude, when we get to that, like, oh my god. But okay, one thing at a time here. So after that, it was announced that there would be a Pokemon showcase.
RJ
and myself did not record our live reactions because
it was way too early in the damn morning. It was only 12 minutes, and there's only one announcement worth talking about.
And also, they're very bad about DMCAing. So, with that being said, let's talk about the only game that we really care about as far as RJ and myself. Braille has already informed us of his displeasure of this, but I'll let him explain in more detail. Everyone was hoping that the next mainline Pokemon game would be announced, or most people expected Gen 5 remakes. Well, we didn't get the Gen 5 remakes. However, we did get a new mainline title in the form of Pokemon Legends ZA. I'm calling it ZA.
Za. Is that how you
Za,
say it?
motherfucker.
Za?
No.
Za.
Za.
So,
Yeah, here's a
something
JoJo
interesting.
reference to everything.
The meta, here's something interesting. We're going back to the X and Y era.
Yes, and so this is why Braille, just to quickly explain Braille's displeasure with this, because Legends Arceus took place in Gen 4, he said everyone assumed they were going to Gen 5. I
Nope.
believe that
They skipped it.
I believe that was a full. I understand why that's like a logical thing, but Pokemon, there's so many past gens they can go to. They can go to whichever one they damn well please. And from what I understand in the general consensus of the Pokemon fandom, this is not me projecting, this is genuinely the consensus. Everyone expected when Pokemon X and Y came out that there would be Pokemon Z, which would be kind of like the Emerald, the Platinum, the definitive version of those two games.
And there was never a Pokemon Z. There was never there was never an updated release of those games. So this is interesting.
Yes.
So it's called ZA. The other interesting thing, I don't know if you saw this meta, is that apparently this game is going to take entirely within one city, Luminous City.
Yes.
The whole game takes place in one location. That's it.
Yes, and Braille again showed displeasure on that. I'm gonna wait and see more. I want to see more before I give a full opinion on this. Again, I have not played Pokemon X and Y.
Have you played Pokemon Legends, the first one?
I have it. I have not gotten to it yet, man. You know me. Like, I have these games piled up. I did not mean for them to pile up.
Because the first Legends game was
really good.
People really liked it. People really liked it.
I've heard nothing but good things about Legends Arceus. Braille loves it, and a lot of our other friends. I'll just name drop some of them. I know that I think Rhea said that she loved it. I think Ken also said that he loved it too.
Because when they released Legends, that was in January of what year was it? Because it came out
2022. 2022.
Okay, and there was another game that came out in 2022. What was it?
Violet and Scarlet.
Violet and Scarlet was 2022?
Yeah.
Really? It was 2022? That's
what
crazy.
The article says. This will be a fantastic first major release since a very busy 2022, that started with Legends Arceus and ended with Violet and Scarlet.
Wow, so they released them all at the same year. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember Legends Arceus came out in January, and then the other one came out end of the year. And Scarlet and Violet, people did like it. It's that they had a lot of issues at launch with performance.
It was a lot of bugs. Yeah, there's a lot of bugs. So what this means is that hopefully what the Pokemon Company said is happening. They're taking more time with these games. They're giving their game developers more time to work on. That's what the hope is, and that's what it seems to be, because this game is teased to come out next year. This game was announced now, but will come out next year. And I saw this funny post on Twitter that said, or X that said, I think this is the first time in gaming history people were excited to see a long-away release title for a game.
Yeah, people were actually excited not to see a new Pokemon game. You know what I mean? People were excited not to get another mainline game.
And that is a good thing. That is a great thing, because that means that the fandom is willing to give the devs the time. They're backing up what they've been saying on Twitter for once. We want to give these devs time to make these games great again. Make them polished. Make them perfect. Good experiences for gamers.
Listen, I think Legends is a good holdover game for the next mainline game.
Oh, absolutely, dude! If Legends games break up the flow of the other mainline titles, by all means, please make it another mainline series. There are so many different places you can go to. Hell, I know people may not be a fan of this, but if they wanted to, they could go back to where Sword and Shield was. They could go back to where the more recent games were, because you got to think about it. By the time how games work, I mean, fuck. We're already, it feels like Scarlet and Violet just came out, but they're already done. They're already finished. Like, we're going to be going to wherever they want us to go next in the Pokemon world. So they may go back to Gen 5. They may go back to Gen 2. We don't know where they'll go with the Legends series. That's the point. And I like that. The Legends series, I think, is going to add a breath of much needed fresh air into the Pokemon community.
Absolutely. I tend to agree with that. I think that it's a good move. The Legends game, the first Legends game, was very much beloved by all fans. And I think, not to throw shade. I just think that the Pokemon Company, they're getting a lot of heat, a lot of criticism, and I think they need to make sure that the next games, that like the next mainline games,
they slap. They gotta cook.
They gotta cook with those. Yeah.
Those games got to be like mwah, chef's kiss. But yeah, it's very interesting because again, I'm interested to see more as this comes. Again, we're probably gonna not see much about this game until we. I'm gonna come back to that. I'm gonna come back to when I think we'll actually see this game next. But do you have any other final thoughts on this announcement or what it could possibly mean? Or I think we've covered.
Well, let me ask you this: do you think that Legends Arceus will come to just the Switch?
So people are saying that this doesn't mean anything, but in the original post they said Nintendo Switch systems, and people are like, oh, they mean like the regular Switch, the Switch OLED, and the mini Switch, and I'm like, that's what they could mean. But there's also the insinuation. There's also the insinuation that it's also going to be a cross-gen title, just like Breath of the Wild was.
Where's your
all
line
those
of
years
thinking
ago?
when it comes to that?
So what?
So I said, what's your line of thinking when it comes to that?
I think it's a bit of column A, bit of column B. Like it's insinuated. Like it's in the context of what they're saying. So yeah, we mean they're going to come on these systems, but also it's 2025. And again, with the main topic that we're about to get to in just a moment, I'll explain more in just a moment.
My thought process is this: I think
Yeah.
Legends Arceus will be the last. Well, when did they give a firm release date for Legends?
They just said 2025.
So no, okay. So if we're going with the convention of the first game, I think that it could launch in early 2025, like January. I think this will be the last Switch game.
Possibility.
I think it'll come out January 2025, and it'll be the final Switch game.
I don't know about that. I'll go into what my actual thoughts are with this in just a minute because we're almost there. We're almost to the big topic. I just wanted to quickly take a quick side version with Nintendo and talk about this other thing that happened real quick. But before I do, again, anything else you wanted to say or ask me about ZA?
No, we're good.
Okay. With that, let's take a quick detour to show that Nintendo is still Nintendo, and where they do a lot of good, sometimes they do something really stupid. No company is perfect. Every company has flaws. Harmon Smith, I know that you may not believe that, but Nintendo is wrong in this case. Because emulation is perfectly legal. Nintendo sues Switch emulator Yuzu for facilitating piracy at a colossal scale. Nintendo isn't alleging Yuzu stole the keys, but says it's all about piracy. Basically, Nintendo's suing Yuzu, who is an emulation company, essentially. And for those that don't remember, PlayStation tried this a few years ago, and they got their asses handed to them in court. Now, Nintendo's lawyers are a lot more vicious than PlayStation lawyers, and that says a lot.
Yeah.
However,
the biggest issue I'm seeing with this, not to cut you off, I just wanted to. The biggest issue that they're having is that people are using these emulation softwares like Yuzu to pirate their new games. The example they used in the lawsuit in the court documents was
Breath
Tears
of the Wild.
Kingdom.
Oh, Tears of the Kingdom, excuse me, yeah.
Which that's technically true. Like, listen, I have nothing against emulation, but people do use emulation to pirate games. They just do.
And yes, and so I will say that when it comes to certain conditions and certain circumstances, I have in fact sailed the seven seas like One Piece, and I have found the treasure that I have been searching for. And I want to also say though that if these companies actually made it possible for customers to legally purchase them under fair pricing conditions on a platform that is the current system that they promote, a lot of people wouldn't resort to that.
Some games, you have to emulate because they're not available on modern platforms, and that's
what
emulation's a great way for game preservation. But it's not a store where some people are using this to pirate new stuff for no reason other than they just don't want to pay for it.
I was insinuating that without outright saying it, but you're correct. I am of the same mind. again, when the Wii, like for example, Nintendo themselves did this. Wii U and 3DS stores are shut down right now. A lot of games that had not been released in the West before, or just indie games, small indie games that Nintendo has on their platform, on the Wii U platform. That's the only place you could get that game. These companies either were so small that they went out of business, or just other things happened. So my point is that this is the only way you can play these games on the system. So if you did not, get them when you get a Wii U and just get these games to have them, you're SOL. Where emulation comes into that is it makes it possible for those games to, like RJ just said, to be preserved, to be kept. And I'm going to give a bit of credit to a shitty person, a recent shitty person, and I hate to do this, but I got to give flowers, unless proven otherwise. When Gerard made his video saying that he legally purchased every single Nintendo Wii U and 3DS game on the eShops and then donated those consoles to the Video Game Foundation, that's commendable. Now, I still, as a lot of people have, I still question how he was able to get where did those funds come from, especially with the recent reports that have come out. But yeah, though, the point is that now, in a way, these games are preserved, and I wish that the games industry did a better job at preservation, because getting rid of physical media, going into this all digital future, preservation, which is a big thing for me, becomes damn near impossible for certain aspects because of how games are. So yeah, I think that all in all with this lawsuit, Nintendo might have a case, but again,
I'll say this: if Nintendo wins this lawsuit, that's not good for the industry, in my opinion.
No,
I think it's gonna cause some issues.
But I
know for a damn fact the other companies are waiting to see what happens so they can do their own lawsuits.
Oh, absolutely. They want piracy and emulation to be dead. They don't want you to be able to play these games unless they tell you can play them. Which goes back to what Ubisoft said: get used to not owning your own stuff. But anyway, I think Yuzu will win, potentially, or if at the very least restrictions will be placed to where a new game just can't automatically come out on the software. I don't know, but I hope the right thing happens. I hope the right outcome is what is
well, the other issue too is that Yuzu was they had their own Patreon page, and that caused some controversy as well, because I guess they had a Discord and a Patreon page where they were encouraging people to give them money for support. Which that does hurt their I get why. It's just that it might hurt their chances in court.
I mean, they have to find a way to keep themselves afloat. So yeah, it's this one might be a bit messy, but we'll just have to see how this plays out, and we'll do our best here on Controller Chronicles to cover this ongoing story, because this is not over by a long shot. This is just the announcement, really.
Yeah, this is definitely this is not going away anytime soon. It's gonna be an ongoing story.
Yeah, and we'll do our best to cover it as best as we can here. Go Yuzu. Okay. Because again, Nintendo has been known to do some shitty things when it comes to their older games. I still think it's bullshit that they locked them behind a paywall, but regardless. Okay, so on to the main topic, the main discussion point. We are already in how we're in. And that main point is sorry. Switch 2.
Okay, I thought you wanted to drum roll. There you go.
No. Switch 2. All right, folks. I'm going to lead into this. So, as we all know, it is the year of our Lord 2024. The Nintendo Switch came out in the year of our Lord 2017. It had a pretty good run. It's become one of the highest selling and fastest selling, biggest selling game consoles of all time. And now with what has come out, there's a very good chance it'll become the highest selling gaming console of all time, which has not been done since the PlayStation 2, which I will still consider that the greatest game console of all time, because my God, that thing was immaculate. Anyway, but Andy Robinson from VGC says Nintendo's Switch 2 is targeting March 2025 and was delayed to avoid shortages, new report claims. Okay.
Yeah, so this report came from the Japanese business website Nikkei.
I don't know.
And then the Atlas Sega leaker Midori, she confirmed that this is indeed what is going on. So here's my line of thinking, Meta. Okay, so
because you were originally like, what the hell? Like, this has to be fake. Like, why? Like, what is Nintendo got?
I'll be honest. When I first heard this, I was a little peeved. I'm gonna keep it real, mostly because it seemed like Nintendo wasn't releasing much this year because they're getting ready for Switch 2 in the fall. Right. So here's my line of thinking. Right. Based on their reasoning, I actually think this is the smart move. I think it's a good thing to wait until they are sure, one, that the console is up to snuff, two, that there's not going to be any shortages, that they can make enough consoles to meet demand, and three, it lets their devs have more time to cook, which means hopefully that the launch lineup will be very strong. I wish it was this fall. I think 8 years is pretty long for a console, but it is what it is, right? What I find interesting though is that, so if we're going with the logic, this is launching in March of 2025. Seemingly, we're going to get a reveal in June. Would you say?
We all agreed. Braille, and myself all agreed, that this game will be getting the console will be getting an announcement in the summer of next year. Yeah. Or the summer of this year. Excuse me, the summer of this year.
Probably June. Probably June.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that makes sense, right? So, right now, when it comes to Switch first party, we got Princess Peach in March, so in a few weeks. Then at some point, we're getting Thousand Year Door Remake, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD Remaster. After that, we got no clue what first party's doing. No clue.
And that's
what's interesting, though, because if they are waiting to launch Switch 2 in March, and you're talking about PS2 sales number, what do they do the rest of this year to keep the Switch afloat until the launch?
Do you want my honest answer?
I have two answers, but go ahead.
Well, I think we're going to agree on this one, so I'll just say the obvious one. I think RJ and I both agree that they will do a price drop.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that, but yeah. I was thinking more along the lines of game releases to carry.
Oh, well, the game release, I got you. Watch me cook. Watch me work here.
Well, let me cook first. First one, I think they finally pulled the trigger on this. I think this year we're going to see a lot of remasters and ports.
Yep.
And the one I think they're going to do this year, which is the one everyone's been waiting for, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker HD.
Yep. The final Wii U games, the remastered Wii U game. So that way you would have Twilight Princess, Twilight Princess, Wind Waker, and Skyward Sword,
all on one console.
And honestly, like, you would have the majority of Zelda's lineup on one console.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. Which is crazy to think about.
That is crazy. And same thing with Mario. The other thing,
you would have all of it with Nintendo Switch Online. You'd have all of it.
You'd have all of it.
Except for like spin-off games and like the
mainline titles though.
Yeah.
Now, what I would also here's what I would love for them to do, and this could be for the next console or this console. So remember how they are doing an HD remaster of Luigi's Mansion 2?
Yes.
We don't know how far off the next actual Zelda game will be, right?
Right.
Do what you did with Luigi's Mansion 2 to the two most beloved games in the series, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time.
Ooh, I don't know about that. I feel like that'd be a big project, honestly.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
But the 3DS remakes.
Yeah, the 3DS remakes. Yeah.
Oh,
Do what you.
Okay, yeah. Actually,
You see me cooking now. You see me cooking.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. The other one I was going to mention though, this is what I think, right? Because you need a new game. You need a new game to pull the trigger on, right? I think we see Metroid Prime 4 as the final big fall game for this year.
So, as for Metroid, my beloved Metroid, let me cover my Metroid right quick. Okay, so as we said just a moment ago with Zelda, Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, I think they should.
I see where you're going with this.
I personally think that they should make those a combo pack. First off, I think that should be a dual pack thing, and that way you could justify a higher price point.
Yeah. So basically, you're saying that you think that we're gonna get Metroid Prime 2 and 3 HD this year?
I think we're gonna get Metroid. I think we could get Metroid Prime 2 and 3, and the reason why is again, Metroid Prime Remastered sold very well. And honestly, when you look at Metroid now as a franchise, Dread sold incredibly, insanely well, and it actually won
for a Metroid game. Yeah, it sold pretty well for Metroid.
Like Metroid is finally becoming what I've always seen it as, and being that third pillar for Nintendo, with Zelda and Mario being the other top two. Now, what I would like to happen, I think this makes the most sense, is we've talked about it. With that announcement of the Switch 2 placeholder name coming in the summer, the other reason why they're delaying it is because they want their first party to cook. Well,
right. I think they want their launch lineup to be really good.
Well, son, let me tell you how you cook good. Let me tell you how you just create a fucking masterclass. Like Gordon Ramsay would be crying right now with how good you're cooking. So, I think personally, with how long it's been in the oven, Metroid Prime 4 could be a cross title just like Breath of the Wild. I do. And I don't think it'll be the only one. I do also think that Pokemon game, ZA, will be a cross title as well. I think that this launch lineup, they want this launch lineup to be immaculate. Not since the PS2 have we seen a strong first party lineup in gaming. That's what I think they're trying to go for with this, and they need to sell this as good as they can. So it being backwards compatible, it having a strong first party lineup. If the price point is good, I could see the install base having a better migration than we saw from 4 to 5 and 1 to series. So you got your Metroid Prime 4 cross-gen title, Pokemon ZA cross-gen title. I hope they don't announce the actual next, not actual, but like the mainline game, the sequel to Scarlet and Violet. Don't announce that yet, please. Like, let Legends be the Pokemon game to start off this new console's life. But a new 3D Mario game. A new 3D Mario game could be another launch title for the system. And
do you think we see Mario Kart 9?
I think we could, at the very least, see a teaser.
Yeah, because that's the question. When they announce this console, seemingly in the summer, do they just announce
first party lineup's got to go hard?
Do they announce?
It's got to go so hard.
That's the question. Do they announce games, or do they just announce the console first, then show the games later?
I think they do exactly what they did with the Switch, because that was a very successful presentation.
So you do a teaser video showcasing the console, then a few months later, you actually show the games. Okay.
Show the teaser. Well, they would want to show the teaser. I feel like they would actually show the console off during the summer. I feel like they would show the console off during the summer. That presentation would happen during the summer, and then it releases early next year.
That's possible. I could see that.
Now, what I could also see happening, RJ, we may just get a summer direct, and it be the final direct of the Nintendo Switch's life cycle, and it is just nothing but ports, remasters, stuff like that.
Maybe like one new game thrown in there.
And what I'm saying is like, do you think they could do a presentation in the fall?
I could see that, yeah.
So they tease it in the summer after this direct, and in the fall we get the presentation, and then in immediately next year we get the console. That way, also the hype is satisfied much faster. We don't have to wait. The hype is satisfied more. We don't have to wait. I think that may be another possibility of what happens. Now, let me quickly go back to this article here. Because it says, although Nintendo planned to launch in late 24 for Switch 2, according to Nikki, priority was given to ensure initial inventory of successful console lineup. The initial inventory of the successor console and a lineup of software titles at the time of its launch in an attempt to avoid widespread reselling.
I think they're trying to prevent scalping, like what happened with PS5 and Xbox.
Absolutely, and honestly, bravo to Nintendo for doing that for gamers. This person noted that Switch 2 could yet slip beyond March 2025, dependent on manufacturing and how much software is ready for relaunch. So that's the other reason why I think they should do it in the fall, is because if it's done in the fall, then even if it doesn't meet that March deadline, it's still coming out sometime early to mid next year. Like, even if it came out in the summer of next year, that thing would still sell. That thing is going to sell.
I think they're going to be ready for March. I think this is already rumored to be coming out in the fall. I think they're going to be ready for March. I think it's all hands on deck, honestly.
And I think it's all hands on deck. They're going to try to give the Nintendo Switch a magnificent swan song, if ever there was one.
And listen, even if it's mostly ports, if it's ports that people really want, no one's going to really care.
Like I just said about the emulation, if you give us the games that we're wanting to play on the modern hardware, we'll buy them legally. We have no problem doing that. There's one
that they could do that would make people so happy. Although I don't know if it'd be a system seller.
What is it, RJ?
Kid Icarus Uprising HD.
Would you please?
I'm just saying, if they wanted to go full out with the HD remasters and remakes, I'm just saying that would cook.
Well, they could. Most
likely they won't. Most likely they won't. I'm just saying,
I know. Well, again, I said the same thing. I literally just said the same thing that they could do for Ocarina and Majora. Like, they could do that too, and they really should. But yeah, I think this is going to be a very fascinating time. And again, that's not even including the third party. We're just talking about first party.
Yeah,
the Switch's lineup at launch.
I think third party support could be more depending on
what. Third party is
like,
probably going to be. I'm going to go ahead and predict, because the Switch proved this for Nintendo. All without a shadow of a doubt, it proved it to Nintendo. I think that the Nintendo Switch 2 third-party lineup is going to be the strongest we've ever seen on a Nintendo console.
Well, remember, Microsoft said that Activision is going to be supporting the Switch. Especially like they're going to port Call of Duty to Switch.
That even reinforces my point even more. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Because again, just with some titles that have not been announced yet, but very well could be announced to come to this next console. I think
Capcom's going to go hard for Switch 2.
Oh, Capcom's going to go so hard.
If Switch 2 is powerful enough, I guarantee you see the Resident Evil remakes on there.
Absolutely. That's what I was about. So again, like, the possibilities for third party, but this is what I feel like are guaranteed to be there. Probably either day one or close to day one, like in the coming months of the launch of the system. P3R. Immediately see that on there. Metaphor. Yeah. Unicorn Overlord's already on Switch, but yeah. Metaphor and
I could see Square Enix. I could see Square Enix.
P3RE, Like a Dragon.
Oh, you think Yakuza can come to Switch?
I think Like a Dragon could come to Switch. I think it could. It's already sold like crazy on those two systems, and Sega's approach to multi-platform has changed.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's changed for the better. So I could see
But
that
don't
coming
forget
there.
too, like the Crazy Taxi and the Jet Set Radio
Well,
stuff.
we
that's
have
probably coming.
and we heard some sad news about those games.
Yeah, we'll probably get into it next episode.
Yeah, but let me think again, and then again, Microsoft, Hi-Fi Rush, Sea of Thieves, and then
Grounded.
having Sea of Thieves. All the systems have Sea of Thieves, and it'll be the first time. Well, first time in a long time that Rare has made a new game for Nintendo console. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
And then you have, again, Capcom. You have, honestly, imagine, like, bro, imagine.
You could listen. If the Switch 2 is powerful enough, you could see Street Fighter 6 on Switch.
If the new Switch is powerful enough, I could dare see Cyberpunk 2077 on it.
All right. I don't know about that one. Chief. I don't know about that one.
Listen. If it's as powerful as a PS4 Pro, it can handle it.
Barely, but it could handle it.
I'm just saying, they got Switcher. There was Switcher.
I know, but that was a miracle port. That was
And
a
I'm
miracle
saying
port.
that freaking Cyberpunk could be a miracle port too.
They'd have to do a hell of a job with the miracle port. If that's the case. I don't know about
I'm
that.
just saying,
But
though.
I do agree, though. In general, I do think the launch lineup is going to be very strong.
And again, like, I do believe in my heart of hearts, in my soul of souls, that Twilight Princess and Wind Waker are not going to be the last Wii U games that we see get a re-release. I do think
there's only one other one I can think of.
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah, that's like the only other one I can think of that be a big
Xenoblade
deal.
Chronicles on the Switch has popped off, and it has become a main branch for Nintendo's JRPGs. I can see.
Oh yeah, like Switch is definitely like, when you look at franchises that thrived on Switch, Xenoblade's up there for sure.
Xenoblade is absolutely
like that
up there.
franchise. I feel like really hit the mark with Switch.
Like in Nintendo's purchase of Monolith Soft proving to be worth it right now. And so Xenoblade Chronicles X getting a remake for the new Switch, that could possibly be a cross port, but I really see it being just on the new system, since again, backwards compatibility is also going to be a thing that this new system seems to have, and you'll be able to have all Zelda. I want to dare say all of Mario, most if not all of Metroid,
except for Galaxy 2,
and
3D Land.
And 3D Lands. Again, though, with what they're doing with the 3DS games, I could see them. I pray to God that in the future we see 3D Lands and Metroid, the remake of Metroid 2, come to the consoles, because along with Ocarina and hell, even I know this would technically be a thing, but you could either do a remake or a port of either Star Fox Zero or Star Fox 64 from the 3DS, because that was just a good remake of that game. Both are basically Star Fox 64, so pick your poison, or take your pick, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
So again, like the possibilities for what could be announced, what could be coming, are insane. And honestly, this is the thing about the games industry right now. There is a lot of bad with the layoffs and everything like that, but at the same time, things that were once thought impossible seem to be happening on a daily basis. Like,
I mean, we got the return of Super Mario RPG.
The old school book of what will never happen in gaming has been burned to a crisp. The sacred texts are burnt.
Yeah. Well, except
again,
for one thing.
What's that?
Still no Mother 3 for Switch.
That'll
never happen. Okay,
that's the one.
That's the one thing that will never happen.
Yeah, that's the one Nintendo golden rule. But like again, what you just said. Plus, I mean, hell, Sora was in Smash, folks. Sora was in Smash, y'all. That's still a big highlight for me. But yeah, this generation for Switch, the Switch has been an incredible system. I feel like, honestly, when the time does come for this console to be sunsetted, we should do like a tribute episode to it, just because of how awesome the Switch has been. What do you think, RJ?
Yeah, I'm down for that, totally.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd want to talk about with Switch 2 at all, or? You think we've covered everything?
Nothing much. I mean, I wish we'd have more information on like the power of it, like what internally the system's cooking with. Because I've heard varying things on either it's as powerful as a base PS4 or it's as powerful as a PS4 Pro, which are two very different things.
I've only heard the PS4 Pro. Like I first heard the PS4 like base PS4, but then I heard nothing but PS4 Pro ever since.
I hope it's at least as powerful as a PS4 Pro, maybe even slightly more powerful. But I mean, Nintendo's never been
if it's a bit better of a medium console between 4 and 5, then yeah, that you can.
Because I don't need it to be as powerful as a PS5. That's fine. Just
and honestly, that helps with.
Maybe
that makes it to where
PS5
it's more affordable.
At least, you know,
it makes it more affordable. That if it's not as powerful, that's the truth of the matter.
Yeah,
So that's the other thing, though. Again, the price point has to hit. How much do you think? I guess let's do that. How much do you think they'll charge?
Well, I know the one thing that was confirmed, at least from reports, that they're not going to do an OLED screen to make it more affordable. Which that does kind of stink. I do wish it was OLED, but I get why. My guess is they're going to try and keep it to about $300 US. Although I could see it being $350 to $400, but I think they're going to try and keep it at $300. Overall.
I think $300 to $350 is where they keep it. And again, they will probably release an OLED version later down the road in this console's lifetime. They'll probably release a lot of special editions, and I swear to God, if they ever release if I ever see a Metroid themed anything again, I'm gonna buy it. I was back when it originally came out. I was so close to buying a 3DS Metroid version. I was so close.
I got the Pokemon Ball themed 2DS, which is a really nice one.
Oh, I have the Galaxy one now because it fits my aesthetic. But anyway, but yeah, the future for Nintendo is interesting. Because again, Arlo even mentioned this in his most recent video. Like, it's a very interesting time because, like, yeah, what do you really fill the rest of the year with it without except more ports and remasters? Like,
which again, ports and remasters are fine if they're stuff that people like
care
and
about,
pay for. Yeah,
and I will say that like Nintendo has been really good this year with trying to bring back older series that fans have been asking for years.
I mean, they brought back Advance War, for example.
Advance War, Famicom Detective, which had never been over in the West. Another Code, which is the most recent re-release they did back in January.
And they localized the sequel, which never got an American release.
Exactly. So like Nintendo's been getting better at that, and that's a good thing. And I do think that if that F-Zero Battle Royale did as good as people wanted it to, we may see F-Zero come back on this next console.
That'd be nice.
Which honestly, I'm gonna say this, RJ. If we don't get Mario Kart 9, F-Zero would be a great placeholder until we do get Mario Kart 9. I know it's not the same, but it's still something.
Listen, if we get an F-Zero game, I'm not gonna complain. I would not complain about getting an F-Zero game.
I'm just saying though, I think it logically,
I'd be fine with that.
I think business-wise and logically, it makes sense to have an F-Zero game out. So it's like there is a racing game on Nintendo. It is a beloved Nintendo IP. It's not Mario Kart though, but Mario Kart 9 is coming. Like, yeah, it feels it's like an appetizer before the main.
Although
feast.
I will be honest though, I do think that they need either a 3D Mario at launch or a Mario Kart at launch. One of the two.
I think it'll be a 3D Mario. I do think that. And hell,
most likely, yeah, I think it will be a 3D Mario.
think we'll either. I'm going to be a very bold prediction right now. One of the other things I think could be a launch title or something released even a year into the system. A new Donkey Kong game.
That'd be cool. Pretty sweet.
And I don't mean Mario versus Donkey Kong. I mean an actual legitimate like Donkey Kong Country or dare I say a full 3D Donkey Kong game like Donkey Kong 64.
I could see that. I could definitely see that. Not against it either.
Oh, nah. Like, again, I don't think there's a lot that we're against when it comes to...
I'm very open-minded, you know?
because again, Nintendo just has such a big IP like IP library that like there's a lot of franchises. I think that there's a lot of hope for this in this generation coming up with Nintendo that maybe they'll. I still think that when it comes to like, for example, their online service, I think they're gonna keep it how it is going up to the N64. They know people will pay for GameCube remakes and remasters, so they're gonna keep going to the well with GameCube and just re-releasing those to be paid for. Which again, I don't mind. Again, all of Pikmin is available now.
I know, which is great. That's a great thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like Pikmin, Metroid, Animal Crossing, like all these different GameCube icons are now revitalized. Again, Mario, Thousand Year Door. Again, a game everyone wanted to be remade, but never thought it would happen. Again, happened. So,
yeah, a dream game, you know.
Yep. But all right, folks. I believe that's going to do it for today. I think we've exhausted this conversation, and so
yeah.
I want to go ahead and thank RJ for joining me for this one. It's always a pleasure talking to you, my man.
Yeah, of course.
And I want to thank all of you for watching, whether you're watching, watching on I forgot this isn't a live video. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, again, please hit that like, hit that share button, and hit that subscribe button. We are currently on the road to 100 subscribers for the channel. And also, again, in the description, I will be linking a link to my Discord. And again, Controller Chronicles will be a subsection on there. And again, you can also just hang out with a bunch of cool, sweet people that I have come to know. And honestly, all of them, I really kind of love in a way because they're my people. But yeah, if you want to, feel free to join the neighborhood. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you as a part of it. And with all that being said, folks, I think that's going to do it for us. Again, thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you. We love you. Roast the past, enjoy the present, and embrace the future. And until next time, this is Controller Chronicles signing off for now. See y'all next time. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.